Hey guys, it is Regina Coley, aka the Motivate Her, here with another motivational message for you. And today I'm here to denounce the princess syndrome in little girls. Now you may be saying to yourself, what? Don't you have three little girls? And weren't they all little princesses? Yes, they are. I still have a daughter who puts on her Elsa and Anna frozen dress and she twirls around like nobody's business. But when I realized this, I really sat down and looked at her one day and I thought to myself, I don't want her to be a princess. I want my daughter to realize that she's a queen. She is a queen. So often I start my conversations with girls regarding my name. My name is Regina Elizabeth. So both Regina and Elizabeth mean queen. And my mother has always stressed to me, I named you queen twice. You are royalty. Something about that, as I'm now working with girls, resonates with me. And so I have this entire message around being royal and being poised and positioned and postured as royalty. And sharing that message with girls has been very critical to my message. But in order to do that and support and lifting and building up this queenly attitude and queenly posture, we have to denounce the princess mentality. When we look at these Disney movies and we look at the princess, who is the one who always saves the princess? Who is the one that she's often loftily waiting for and dreaming for to come and save her? It's the prince. So we put our girls in this position where we feel like somebody has to save her in order for her to be. She has to wait in order to be. She has to be linked or connected in order to be. And that is not so. So we have to be mindful that even though we're saying to girls, you are princesses and you can do anything. And Disney has this wonderful campaign now, Dream Big Princess. And I get it because it's connecting them with all the Disney princesses and challenging them to dream and think big. That's wonderful. But even in The Princess and the Frog, yes, she was working all these jobs. She got her own restaurant and her own business, but she still had to marry the prince. She had to fall in love in order to be happy. Every single princess movie, and I could sit and rattle them off, but I'm not going to because that defeats the purpose. Every single one of them, the princess has to marry the prince and they live happily ever after. When does a queen find her happily ever after? When she sits on the throne and reigns. Can I get an amen? A queen doesn't have to wait for her king. A queen, yes, does have a king and he thoroughly supports her, but the queen is the person in charge. She is in a position of authority. She makes things happen. She has the crown on her head. She's the one who makes the choices and the decisions and influences outcomes. She is the person who utilizes her voice and her authority to create change. A queen don't wait for anybody. She can make the decisions with or without the king. She stands in her authority on her own. A princess does not. So when I see my daughter twirling her quote unquote princess dress, I remind her, no, baby, you have a queen's dress on. And you rule and you reign and you rock this thing out. She doesn't care. She's just twirling in a dress that sparkles. That's all that's mindful for her. But I'm mindful of the conversations that I'm having. Because if nothing else, the subliminal conversations that we have will become her inner voice. And so later on, when she begins to look at that princess dress, she'll remember whether I'm here or not, or away from her, or she's at school or church or any place else, the things that her mother has reminded her of. I'm a queen. This isn't a princess dress. This is a queen's dress. I remember one time I told my daughter something. I forgot what it was. I forgot even having this conversation with her until she repeated it back to me. And I realized my voice is becoming her voice. The things that I am saying to her out loud are becoming her inner voice and her innermost thoughts. So when we're away from each other and somebody else challenges her or questions her, she can rattle off what her mama said. Not simply because her mama said it, but because it's the doggone truth. How are we doing that for our girls? Are we challenging them? Are we giving them the words and the thoughts and the ideas that will eventually become their inner voice? If not, I challenge you to do that today. If you are a young girl yourself listening to this message, baby, turn your princess dress into a queen's dress. Turn your princess crown into the queen's crown, because you rule and you reign in your life. If this is a mom or auntie listening, or grandma listening, challenge the young girls in your life. Remind them that they are queens. Denounce the princess syndrome. If you're a community leader and you work with girls, the next time you have a conversation with them, remind them who they are. We have to take these unique opportunities to really impart the word into our kids, because the words that they speak are words that they've heard before, or thoughts that they've had before. So we want to give them a little fuel. We want to give them something to ignite or spark that desire to be more inside of them. We want to build up their confidence and build up their strength, because it already exists inside of them. It just may not be strong enough to be exerted through language and action and behaviors and thoughts and attitudes yet. But we have the wonderful opportunity to shift their way of thinking, to challenge their way of thinking. We are the foundation for who it is that they will eventually become. And the more women around them sharing the same message means it's got to be true. They're telling me something I need to know. It wouldn't be 20 women in my life telling me I'm a queen if I'm not one, would it? They wouldn't all be lying to me, would they? No. But we do lie to our girls by telling them that they're princesses, that they have to wait on their prince to experience their happily ever after. I want our girls to feel empowered, to know that they can do anything that they put their minds to. I want them to dream big, because the world needs big dreamers. Big dreamers become big action takers, because we're not comfortable with just dreaming. We want to see this thing exist and become in this world. So challenge the girls in your life to become the queens that they already are. Dream big, challenge, and change the world.